Paris is hosting the 33rd Summer Olympics after 100 years of hosting the sporting event. And this time around, it will be the biggest event ever organized in France. The Olympics will be held in Paris, France, from 26th of July to 11th of August 2024, with 10,714 athletes participating in 329 events, drawn from 32 sports to be held in 35 venues. The largest sporting event will host in 206 nations, including refugee Olympic team competing for 329 gold medals. Each Olympic host city has designed unique medals reflecting its culture and history, with each medal having a piece of original iron from the Eiffel Tower. Nigeria's contingent to the Olympic, led by its flag bearer, Tobi Amusa, consists of 88 Nigerian athletes who will be vying for the medals in 12 sports. Athletics, badminton, basketball, boxing, canoeing, cycling, football, swimming, table tennis, taekwondo, weightlifting, and wrestling. Nigerians will be watching keenly in support of his contingent to do the country proud. Welcome to Nigeria Today. I am Ikaria Clinton, and thanks for joining us. Joining us in the studio tonight via Zoom, actually, is Abdulrahman Ibn Mohammed. He's a sports consultant, former GM, NTA International and NTA Sports. Okay, he will join us very soon. Well, now in the studio is Ayodeji Makinde, NTA Sports correspondent. It's good to have you.
Thanks for having me. Good to be here again.
Now, Ayodeji, the opening ceremony is taking place in the legendary Seine, river. And for the first time in history, the ceremony won't hold in a stadium. What are we expecting from Paris in the next, couple of weeks?
Well, it's one of the uniqueness of the Olympic Games. I mean, Paris any day, anytime is a dream destination of any tourists. So when there's an opportunity to have a mega sports event such as the Olympics, it has to be something unique to the rest of the world. Every Olympic Games that we've had since the turn of the century has had one unique feature or the other to make it memorable. You remember at the London 2012 Olympics, it was James Bond and the Queen of England coming down from the sky, the Skyfall premiere of the James Bond series then. And many people were thinking, did the Queen actually drop from the sky? So there's always a uniqueness that characterizes each and every Olympic Games that we have. And for instance, what we're seeing at the Paris Olympic Games for 2024 is taking everybody's attention away from the stadium, which has usually been the conventional host of the opening ceremony. Now we're going to have it, or they're already having it, by River Seine. And of course, the countries are already having the Parade of Nations by the River Seine. What a place to be. What a place to be. And if you're not there, you can always watch it on NTA terrestrial platforms.
Thank you. Indeed, what a place to be. Now we are being joined via Zoom by Abdulrahman Ibn Mohammed, just like we introduced earlier, the sports consultant, the former GM NTA International, and former GM NTA Sports. You're welcome to Nigeria Today.
Good to be with you this evening.
See you again, Abdulrahman. Now, tell us, in your own opinion, looking at the Nigerian contingent, in terms of preparation, do you think we are really ready for this Olympic?
Well, that's a tough one to crack because every sports administration in this country has, over the years, echoed that we are ready, our athletes are ready, they are primed, but eventually when the chips are down, we find out otherwise. In terms of preparations, would one say that this particular contingent is as well prepared as previous ones? I'm afraid not exactly so. but the individual associations or federations, Athletics Federation of Nigeria, the Nigeria Football Federation, the Boxing Federation, and the Basketball Federation have, in their own small ways, done the best that they can. But as a combined sporting authority matter, NOC ministry, to come out with a long-term plan, I don't think we've gotten to that level yet. And well, this is hardly surprising because this is the way we've always, acted. So on the strength of the fact that the athletes themselves, the basketballers, the footballers, the runners and jumpers and the boxers on their own, I think, along with their federations, have done the best that they can within the given circumstances. And the rest, I think, will be a matter of how tough the opposition is, how lucky they are not to be, impaired by injuries and so on and so forth. But while your question, specifically targets Nigeria's preparation, I'd like to just chip in over what Ayo has commented about. This particular opening ceremony for this Olympics, the Parisians, the French people have taken everybody by surprise. They have taken away the attention from what is normally considered to be the, epicenter of activities, the main ball of Stade de France in this case. People would have been expecting to see contingents marching past the flag bearers, Ethiopian, going around the pitch. But here we are, they've taken us onto the river, the spectacle of Paris, ditto for others who are watching from across all over the world. You can see that this is going to be a different ball game. The athletes are certainly going to be seeing Paris and the French countryside as we saw some of the Nigerian contingent here. And Toby, a lot of hope rests on her.
Thank you very much, Abdulrahman. Now back to you, Ayodeji. Now, having talked about the federation, what are some of the standard athletes in Nigeria that the world should be watching out for?
Now, this is more like Nigeria to the rest of the world. I mean, the build-up to this, even starting, let's go back to the 2020 Olympics, which held in 2021 due to the COVID pandemic. We already know what Tobi Amusan is capable of doing. Remember, she came close in 2021 before she went ahead to break the world record, in the women's 100 meters hurdles. Normally, bookmakers' favorite, she's going to be one name to look out for to make the podium in the final. Remember, she has quite some of the best also in that discipline to face. In the final, the U.S. hurdler, I can't really put her name through now, will really be a main challenger. Blessing Oborodudu was a medalist in women's wrestling in 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games. She narrowly missed out of the final, but this time around, having gone through different procedures and championships on the continent and also at the international level, the experience is there. Possibly this time she can go one better. Now that's athletics, that's also wrestling. Also, let's go back to the year 2021 that we had the Tokyo Olympic Games. Odwanyade Koroye narrowly missed out of the medal category. Now that hunger and thirst will be there for her to go out again this time around to get something done. Let's not forget Ese Brume, the long jumper. She did quite well, won a medal in 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games. She'll be looking forward to go one better this time around. Nobody's putting attention on Elizabeth Ayanacho, the first female taekwondist to qualify for the Olympics since 2004 Athens Games. She narrowly missed out also of the medal zone in 2020, got knocked out at the quarterfinal stage. This time around, she will hope to go one better, get to the semi-final and even the final. Let's not also, we're competing in 12 sports according to the ministry. They said they've been able to strategically decide and determine the sports that will have comparative advantage and we can go all out for medals. This time around, we expect that those international athletes, please mark my words, international athletes will be able to prove they are the best at this stage this time. Just to further corroborate what Abdurrahman said about collective preparation for the games, it's going to be more of individual brilliance and desire this time around rather than a collective goal.
Thank you. Now, Abdurrahman, I know you said, okay, well, individually they've done their best, you know, but collectively you can't really say much. Now, the last gold medal was won, the Olympic gold medal Nigeria won was in 2000.
That's by default, actually.
Okay.
We can say that again.
Anyhow, we won a gold medal that year. Now, will do you see the Paris 2024 end the country's 24-year search for Olympic gold medal?
Well, if everything goes right, everything being equal, as they say, surely, as Ayo has tried to recount, we've got some of the people that on merit, on their day, can excel to the highest ceiling. Certainly, Oluwatobi Amusan is the number one hope for Nigeria. If everything goes well for her, injury, if she's injury-free, if the elements don't, conspire against her, she has proven at some point in time. You can just imagine that if we're in Olympic year, that world record that she set would have been a certain gold medal. So a lot of factors need together for a given athlete to be able to deliver. So it is highly hoped that Oluwatobi Amusan will come clean this time around. She's been a disciplined fellow. The elements try to conspire against her, that she missed some. But luckily, the Court of Arbitration for Sport saw through the matter and gave her a clearance. That would have, on its own, been a psychological dampener on her. But luckily, I think she and her coaches decided that having won the case, they like to go under and prepare. You may have noticed that throughout the Diamond League, which she excelled in 2022, 2020, 2021, 2022, she just stayed down. She's not as prominent in all the races. Methinks it is a strategy by her handlers to keep her focused on the ultimate goal, because at this point in time, winning an Olympic gold is the ultimate. The ultimate. She's been a world champion. She's having the world record. What is next if not an Olympic gold? So Oluwatobi should be there. Ayodeji also make mention of the female taekwondoist Henacho, giving a clean break, giving a break of good luck. She should be able to reach at least the semifinals. And once a combatant reaches the semifinals, anything else can happen. This is how Nigeria won a lot of bronze medals and maybe a couple of silvers in boxing through the late Mayegun, who was our first medalist, I think, way back in 1964. And subsequently, Konyegwachi and co did it. So in terms of prospects, yes, they are there. But will the potentials be able to, come together and deliver when it matters most? It is left for us to see. The various associations or federations, like I said, have done their level best. Now the rest is left for the NOC and the sports ministry. By the way, the sports ministry is relegated to the background now. The IOC, International Olympic Committee, only recognizes national Olympic committees, so they deal with them. So if things come right for us, even the jumper, Ese Brume, on a good day, she should be able to be up there. She is a great competitor. And I think our hopes, their favor of Philly has been doing not too badly in recent competitions over in the States and in some other areas. So with luck coming our way, the ladies are the ones that are most likely to get Nigeria a medal. But a gold medal, the best bet is on Oluwatobi Amusan if the circumstances are right. And my heart and my mind prays and hopes that things come right, because she has worked really, really very hard, and she ought to, get rewarded at this very, very highest point.
Abdulrahman, we are really hopeful that we have a gold medal this time. I'm really hoping. We'll take a breather here and listen to some Nigerians on these 2024 Olympics as put together by Thomas Ogbetere. Don't go away.
Well, we are praying for them. From this one that Brazil played with them yesterday, any match that comes, they can win. But the grace of God, we are expecting them to come with this cup.
Because naturally, Nigerians are determined people. Even though our government does little to encourage sports.
What Nigeria players need is government support, motivation. That is what they need. Because even though you wake them at sleep, they can still perform. But there is that lack of motivation. That is what is killing the team.
Welcome back. This is still Nigeria Today, and we're looking at the 2024 Olympics. And we have two gentlemen, one here in the studio and one via Zoom. Ayodeji, you heard the reaction of people there. We are praying for Nigerians.
Well,
you're laughing.
Oh, yes. Incidentally, the Americans are praying as well. The French are praying. The Italians are praying. But, you know, in as much as we are quite a spiritual country, we try to bring prayers into things. Have we done the needful? Have we laid the foundation that can project us to the podium finishes? I mean, there's some countries or some athletes who are coming into these games who would not even say what a prayer, because, I mean, prayer works, you know, when you've put enough hard work. You can't just sit down but praying and expect miracles to fall. This is sports. It's what you put in that you get outside there. So for them, yes, let them keep praying. But for those of us who can do the proper analyses and the chances, the SWOT analysis of what we're going for into these games, we know where we have our strengths. We know where we have our weaknesses. And just like Abdulrahman rightly said, it's more like a he for she now, because we know most of the men going, they're not going to make up the numbers, don't get me wrong. Some of them are actually going to build confidence, gather more experience, and possibly they might get to the podium level. I mean, you're going to tell me Olusegun Toriola is going. I mean, I call him Egbo. He's going to the Olympics for the 7th time. I mean, that's a big one there. I mean, he's been going to the Olympics as far back as the 1992 Barcelona Games. I mean, some of these athletes who are going to compete and going for gold medals were not even born then. That's one thing to look. I mean, Oshonaike is also going. Club 7, that's what they call them. So for those that want to keep praying, let them keep praying. But we know where our strength is. We know where our weaknesses are. And the men really need to do better. I mean, gone are those days when we'll talk about Sheo Ogunkoya, we'll talk about Deji Aliu, even though they didn't get to making, you know, the podium at the Olympics. But we saw the efforts that they put at the African Games. We saw the efforts that they put at different world championships. It's high time we started having men who could run comfortably on a regular basis a sub 10. But for our men, most of them returning a time of 10 flat, a 9.99, 9.99, most times do not even qualify for the semi-final of the Olympics 100 meters. So a lot of work still needs to be done with our male athletes.
Okay, now back to you, Abdulrahman. And as you're talking about the, you know, the Olympic, what unique cultural element is Nigeria, you know, bringing to the Olympics this year?
Did I hear you right? Culturally said?
Yes, the cultural. What unique cultural element is Nigeria bringing to the Olympics this year?
Well, Nigeria has always, anywhere a Nigerian is, they hold on to their own. I do remember that I think it was in either Sydney or Paris, not Paris, beg your pardon, Rio, that a Nigerian Olympic house, so to speak, was, you know, established. This year, we have not had anything like that. I think maybe because of paucity of funds and so on and so forth, the relevant bodies have not, you know, thought out about how to take Nigerian culture, so to speak, there. What happened in Rio was, I think, the NOC, through an agency, acquired a building where Nigerian cuisine, Nigerian dresses, Nigerian paraphernalia, we are on display. But this time around, I think the focus is just on just, trying to get some funds to, make sure that the athletes get to where they should be. And for the funding, we hear it is a humongous amount of fund, about 12 billion naira has been approved by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as we hear reports emanating from the sports minister, Senator Eno. So it is massive. And I wouldn't blame the authorities if they only concentrate on the athletes and their handlers. Because when you take a contingent of so many government officials, so many state government officials, and so on and so forth, trying to go and do a cultural bit, it's not the festival of World Festival of Arts and Culture or some stuff like that. It's purely a sports event. The only way we can show our culture is if there were a conventional match past, away from what the French are doing now. Maybe when they want to do the closing ceremony, they may do like that. Nigerians exhibiting our dress sense, our women exhibiting Nigerian dress sense, and so on and so forth. But what Nigeria is going to show there is grit of competition that the average Nigerian is known for. Ayo did make mention of Shehu Ogunkoyas of this world, the Alius of this world, Innocent Egbunike, Chidi Imo. In their days, they may not have reached the podium at the Olympics, but at every games, they were there in the thick and thin, losing out maybe in the semifinals and giving the eventual winners a good run for their money. I think this is at the point that we are now. And if we really build, because at the end of every games, when contingents come back, government officials, ministry officials will always say, we will begin planning for the next Olympics now, and everybody will go back to sleep until maybe a year or 6 months to the next games, when other countries would have been, at the very last stages of their preparation. That's when we will start. That is the way it has always been. And I think whatever these athletes are able to do, we should give them appreciation. The gentleman in that clip said motivation. I want to say that from what we hear, what we read in the news, the sports minister has made it very clear that just like at the last All-Africa Games, no athletes will be owed any allowances. In fact, there are some performance bonuses that are given for winners of gold, silver, bronze, and camping allowances are paid before the next stage. And I think once the athletes know that the officials are taking care of their interests, their camp allowances do not take flight, there is motivation. If you win a gold, it has been promised that you'll be given $500, $750, $1,000, as the case may be. That money is there, not through any federation. The ministry, the minister through the NOC are doing that. The athletes will be, sufficiently buoyed because they know that apart from what goes into their pocket, when they do very well, the advertisers will be after them, their federations, world bodies will be after them. Whatever Toby Amusan has earned through our exploits at the Golden, the Diamond League, at the World Championship, it goes to her, man. We are only partakers of the glory because we are Nigerians and we feel happy that someone from our land is doing well. So I think the athletes should motivate themselves first. If they are going to wait for government to motivate them or some others to motivate them, it will be a very, very tall climb.
Thank you very much, Abdul Rahman. Now, Deji, in 20 seconds,
okay.
When do we see Africa host Olympics?
Well, 15 seconds actually now. It's not looking good anytime soon because we're not playing the politics we need to play at the highest level and get the facilities, infrastructure actually, that can attract them to consider Africa. Remember, for 2020, we already know the host. For 2032, we know the host. So maybe Africa can think of 2042.
Thank you. Thank you very much. With that, we'll wrap up today's episode of Nigeria Today. A very big thank you to Abdulrahman Ibn Mohammed, a sports consultant. He's also the former GM, NTA International and NTA Sports. Thank you so much for your time and your contribution. And also thank you to Ayodeji Makinde, he's our sports correspondent in NTA. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Ayo.
anytime.
And thank you for being part of the program. Don't forget, Nigeria Today airs every weekday at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can also watch this episode and others on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. I am Ikaria Clinton. Goodbye.